I still hear the sound of that anklet at night. It's like soft jingling, but no one is there. This happened when I was living in a small village in West Africa. Everyone in the village knew about the witch who wore an anklet that made a sound only certain people could hear. They said if you heard it close by, it meant trouble. Bad things were coming. It was just after sunset when I was walking home from my cousin's house. The road was quiet, no one else around. The sky was dark except for a few stars. As I walked, I suddenly heard a faint jingling sound, like tiny bells ringing softly. At first, I thought it was the wind blowing leaves or maybe an animal walking nearby. But the jingling stayed steady, slow, and closer with every step I took. I stopped and looked around. No one was there. The sound kept coming, but it wasn't getting louder like a person walking fast. It was slow and steady. I felt a cold chill run down my back. My heart started beating faster. I remembered the stories my grandmother told me about the witch with the anklet. She said the witch wears it to scare people, and if you hear it, you should never try to see where it comes from. I wanted to turn around and run back, but my legs felt frozen, like they didn't want to move. The jingling was now very close, as if the witch was walking just behind me. I didn't dare look back. When I finally reached my house, I hurried inside and locked the door. I pressed my ear to the wooden door, hoping to hear nothing. But then I heard the jingling again, outside. It moved slowly around the house, circling like the witch was walking all around me. I was too scared to sleep. I stayed awake all night, listening to that sound, wondering if the witch was right outside, waiting. The next morning, I found small black beads scattered outside my door. They were strange and shiny. My grandmother saw them and said quietly, "These are from the witch's anklet." She left them as a warning. She knows you heard her, and now she's watching you. After that day, I never walked alone at night again. The jingling haunted me for weeks. Sometimes when I closed my eyes, I could still hear it. Soft, slow, and close. I don't know if the witch was real or just a story, but I swear that sound was real, and I'm afraid it might come back. After that first night, things only got stranger. A few days later, I was at the market during the afternoon when I saw an old woman sitting quietly by the side of the road. She was wearing worn clothes and had a faded scarf wrapped around her head. Something about her felt wrong, but I couldn't tell why. As I passed by, I heard the soft jingling again. It was faint, but definitely there. I stopped and looked back. The old woman was gone. I turned around to see if she had moved, but there was no one. That's when I realized the sound wasn't just outside at night. It was following me in the day, too, in places where no one else seemed to notice. I told my grandmother, hoping she could help. She looked at me seriously and said, "The witch's anklet doesn't just warn, it binds. You've been marked." She explained that once you hear the anklet and find the beads, the witch connects to you. She can watch your steps, make you scared, and sometimes worse. She told me to carry a small iron knife with me for protection and to sprinkle salt around my home every morning. I did what she said, but the jingling kept coming. Sometimes when I was alone, I'd hear it moving faster, like the witch was chasing me. Other times it slowed down and stopped right outside my window. One night the sound was so close, I could swear I saw a shadow flicker in the moonlight just beyond the trees. I wanted to scream, but my voice stuck in my throat. I stayed inside,
clutching the iron knife, and whispered prayers I barely understood. When morning came, I found more black beads, this time inside my room, on the floor by my bed. I don't know what the witch wants. I don't know how to stop her. All I know is the anklet's sound never really leaves. It waits, and when it jingles,
After that
I feel
night,
her
things
near
started
again.
to change in small, strange ways that made me question my own mind. I began to have terrible dreams, not like normal dreams, but nightmares where I'd hear the anklet jingling even louder, echoing inside my head. In these dreams, I was trapped in a dark forest, the sound circling me, growing closer and closer. I'd wake up sweating, heart pounding. During the day, people in the village started to look at me differently. Some avoided me, whispering behind my back. A few even crossed to the other side of the street when they saw me coming. I heard rumors that the witch's curse was on me now, and that anyone close to me could be in danger. One afternoon, my best friend came over. She looked worried but didn't say much. Suddenly, she stopped and stared at my feet. "Why do you have these black beads tied to your ankle?" she asked softly. I looked down and saw that some of the witch's anklet beads had somehow woven themselves into my clothes, like they were growing on me. I tried to take them off, but the beads felt stuck, like they belonged there now. That night, I heard the jingling again. It was so close, it felt like the sound was coming from inside my own room. I was frozen with fear, but this time I gathered enough courage to look toward the window. Outside, in the faint moonlight, I saw a figure, tall, thin, with glowing eyes, that watched me silently. The sound of the anklet was louder than ever, a sharp, cold ringing in the night air. I don't know how, but I managed to say a prayer, and the figure disappeared. The jingling stopped. For a moment, I thought I was free, but the next morning, I woke to find a single black bead on my pillow. I'm scared. I don't know how to get rid of this curse. I just know that the witch's anklet is still with me, and every time I hear that faint jingling, I feel like she's closer than before. After that morning, I tried everything I could think of to break free. I visited the village elder, who told me to find the source of the anklet, to confront the witch herself, but no one knew where she lived. Some said she was just a spirit that haunted the forest. Others said she was a woman who had lost her mind long ago. I was desperate. One night, when the jingling grew loud and close again, I grabbed the iron knife my grandmother gave me and stepped outside into the dark. The sound led me down a narrow path into the thickest part of the forest. The air was heavy and cold. The jingling slowed, then stopped. I stood there, alone and scared, waiting. Suddenly, a figure appeared, the witch. She looked like an old woman, but her eyes were sharp and fierce. She wore the anklet, and its beads shone faintly under the moonlight. She spoke in a voice that was soft but strong. "Why do you come here, child?" I tried to explain, to beg her to leave me alone, but the words caught in my throat. She looked at me for a long moment, then nodded slowly. "You heard the anklet because it chose you, but you have courage. I will give you a choice." She held out the anklet. "Wear it willingly and you will have power, but you will never be free. Refuse, and you must leave this place forever, never to return." I took a deep breath and shook my head. I refused. The witch smiled sadly and said, "Then go. But remember, you heard the anklet song. You will carry its memory always." The forest grew quiet. When I looked again, she was gone. I walked back home, feeling the weight of what had happened. Since that night, the jingling has not returned. Maybe the witch kept her promise. Maybe I was lucky. But sometimes when the wind blows just right, I swear I still hear the soft sound of the anklet, reminding me that some things once heard never truly leave.